So when we have even jobs sometimes that's sort of theoretically good jobs, they're in polluting industries that kill us and cause cancer and whatnot. But then even if we can't get access to those jobs, they slap those jobs up against us in our neighborhoods, and it creates pollution. 1 in 3 kids in the city of Oakland have asthma. Right? It's like 3 in 5 in West Oakland. The #1 reason for missing school in Oakland is asthma. And that's because we got this port with these trucks just driving around our neighborhoods, right? Spewing out pollutants. And we got freeways running through both parts of the city, right? And so we wanted to be in the front of actually creating a different sort of economic opportunity for our people. Because, we're going to have to do something about climate change. Right now, it doesn't feel like it. Right now, with the economy the way it's going, then, people are like, forget climate change. But as the world starts to heat up, and as we start to run out of oil, which, be clear, we're going to run out of oil. We're going to actually have to figure out a new way to generate energy. And that's going to create a lot of jobs as we figure out how to generate new energy. Also, as we figure out how to save and reduce our usage of energy. Like a lot of these buildings were built when energy was cheap. And so, these buildings just throw away money every day, all day. But when people understand that, and they understand we can't do it, and we can make a small investment and change that, then they can save money, and that begins to pay for itself over time. And so we wanted to put our folks in the front of that line because we saw what happened when we was in the back of the line on the .com. Always right now, that's the case. That we live in the San Francisco Bay Area. That because of climate change, the Bay is actually going to rise. The level of the Bay is going to rise. Now, there's an airport over there. There's a port right there. They're going to build a wall. But, who here live in East Oakland? Who in here live in West Oakland? Who in here live downtown? Okay, if you're downtown, you're going to get a wall around your house. If you're in East Oakland, I don't know. If you're in West Oakland, how close are you to the port? You might get a wall. That's the kind of conversations they're having right now. Those are economic development conversations. Those are social justice conversations. Those are the conversations they're having right now. Because they know, the engineers know, the Bay is going to rise. And not only are those jobs, but those are economic development opportunities for us to build wealth. We'll come back to wealth in a second. But for us, making sure that we're at the forefront of that process is absolutely important. So we started something called the Oakland Action Climate Coalition. If you go on our website, you can find out more about it. But what it basically does is it brings working people, people of color, immigrants to the table to say, how do we want to be in this conversation around what the city of Oakland is going to do with energy and climate change, and making sure that we get to be in part of the process, so we just not left out, right? Like after Hurricane Katrina, they was like, well, you didn't get in your car and leave? Well, I didn't have a car to leave, right? So it's like, well, you didn't get in your boat and just, ride out the wave? No, I don't got no boat. So if we know that the conversation is happening, we can be part of the conversation if we're organized to do so. So that's some of the work we're doing at the Ella Baker Center. Excuse me one second. So in one of the pieces of work we're doing in the city of Oakland, we just started a year ago, Inauguration Day. This project called Soul of the City. It was really about putting out a vision for us of not just Oakland, but for what cities could be. So we put out this idea of a city that's socially just, spiritually connected, with shared prosperity and a sustainable ecology. And let me walk you through that. Socially just. I was looking at some statistics before I came here today. Right now, the unemployment rate in the country is 9.7, and that's way better than it's been in a little bit. But if you pull that number apart, you'll find out that for white people, the unemployment rate is 8.7, and for black people, it's 16.5. Right? Now, was shocked by that number. And so I went back and I looked at, okay, that's just during the recession. Okay, let's go back and look. And I looked at every quarter. In every quarter, black people, unemployment rate was at least 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 7 percentage points higher than white people, and 4 or 5% higher than the general economy. So, so one of my mentors would say, if white folks economically have the sniffles, black folks has got the H1N1. Okay? And that is what you call a lack of social justice. When, in the city of Oakland, it's easier to find a gun than a job. Right? When black people are 3 times more likely to live in poverty, 6 times more likely to be in the criminal justice system. When there are more people in the there are more black men in the United States right now in jails and prisons than there are in all of the universities, state UCs, community colleges in this country right now. That's just not like, that can't just be accidental. Those are structural problems. And those are social justice problems. Right? Those are institutional structural problems. So we want to break down those institutional and structural problems. But we also know that that's not enough, because part of that has to do with spiritual disconnection.